All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I apologize in advance for the reverb. However, we wanted to get something out to you. But we're going to sit here and watch Hayley and Velvet do a workout. You want to tell them what it was?
Yeah, so we did, it was kind of a little spin-off of Mayhem's programming. I went 4 rounds, 250 meters on the rower, 25 thrusters, and 15 chest-to-bar pull-ups with a 1-minute rest after each round. And then at 20 minutes for time, I do 15 bar muscle ups, 25 thrusters at 95 pounds, and a 500-meter row to finish.
The 1-minute rest was not originally in there, is that right?
That's correct. That was not in there. I added that in there. I felt like it was better for training purposes for myself. So I threw it in there just so I could kind of see how my splits were.
You wanted it to be easier, be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Because to be quite honest, my thrusters would have fallen apart a little bit more if I didn't have that rest.
Speaking of thrusters, here we go, first set. How'd they feel?
Yeah, well, I'm moving the first few reps, and then they get pretty heavy. But I'm actually, I'm surprised like how they look pretty good right now.
Let's talk a little bit about camera angle, because the camera is to the center and you are kind of to the left of the frame.
Sure.
And, I was watching you from the side, and I know that you're locking out your elbows, but for some of them, if you're just barely hitting the standard, it kind of looks forward a little bit. Like, talk a little bit about your strategy as far as just like barely meeting the standard, because that is kind of a thing that you do have to try to do, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's funny because they felt completely locked out, but yeah, I am looking at them right now, and it looks like a little soft lockout. Could be the shirt color, I don't know, it kind of blends into everything in the background.
But, I mean, and I guess in a qualifier setting, online qualifier setting, I mean, you've been dinged in the past for lesser things, so it's like, that's why it's good to do these video reviews, because then you can look and just be like, do I even want to leave it up to the judges,
Sure, yeah. You definitely don't want to leave it up to the judges, but then we can talk about my chest to bar, and it's like, well, the camera's not even, at an angle where you can see my chest making contact.
True, yeah.
So it's like, what do you do? I mean, we've done something where we overlay the videos to where you can literally see every angle, and even then you don't win, so.
I think, all right, so that's the end of round 1, getting into the second round, so I kind of fast forwarded through the rest.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so you guys are about to start your second row. I think Velvet gets going a little bit, and then you get into it. Mm-hmm. But going back to what you were saying before about the chest to bar, now this we specifically just set up because the form, kind of the setup of the rig sitting there kind of like facing front like that, it just looked cool.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
But if we were doing a qualifier setting, these are things that we are going to toy around with before the open comes. We want to make sure that your bar is kind of perpendicular with the camera, right? Yeah.
I mean, we usually have
it's geometry.
Several cameras though. Too.
Right. But I mean, as far as like kind of the main view, you want to make sure you can see your chest hitting the bar. So as we're ramping up for that and practicing these things, we want to make sure that the video, not just the judge, but the video can see the chest touching the bar, and then also the barbell would be probably turned the other way, right? Parallel with that bar. So that way you could see hip crease going below the knee.
Sure. Like you're saying, like I would be looking at the camera?
No. So like the pull-up bar would be to the side,
sure,
like this, and so would your barbell.
Oh,
so that way you could see from the side hip crease going.
Yeah, you definitely don't want the camera to be behind you, because those all look like.
Yeah, and good example here is take a look at Velvet. I was watching these in person, and I actually went over to the side. Her hip crease is going below the knee, but as you can see, she's kind of like facing away from the camera.
Yeah.
You've done a couple qualifiers in the past where it's like you were facing away from the camera.
Yeah, I actually had a video that it was like there was nobody in the room, and my main camera was set up and everybody showed up, which was freaking awesome because I needed the energy, but they happened to block my entire camera one, and so the only one I had was the one behind me.
Yeah.
And I like to drop my elbows a lot, and man, let me tell you, your butt looks like it's way up and your chest is way down, and so from the back view, it's just not a good place for the camera.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely not a good place for the camera, and it makes it look like all your squats are shallow.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, just like it's a bad situation, so don't do it.
Now you're doing sets of 25 thrusters here. Did you do them all unbroken?
I did do them all unbroken, and that was, I really didn't go into it thinking I was going to do that. But for me, sometimes on things that I struggle with, I'm learning to kind of hang on a little bit longer and just see what happens, because I do know that if I put it down and it's a movement I don't like, it's harder to pick it back up, or it's harder to restart, as to where like chest to bar, I love chest to bar. If I come down, I'll get right back up. Like I won't take that much rest. So just on movements that I have had trouble with in the past, I'm kind of trying to just like, what can I do in training? Like, would I do this in competition? Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So this is third round, right?
This is round 3.
No, yeah, totally. I agree. So do you feel like with the 1 minute rest that you added into here and trying to push the pace on these intervals, do you feel like the focus was to hit bigger sets or to have your turnover speed on thruster to go faster? Like what was your focus there?
My focus was bigger sets and just kind of try to be consistent. Now I did do the math after I finished, and my first round was a lot faster than rounds 2, 3, and 4. They were all under 3 minutes, but there was some fall off, and I think that was primarily in the thruster sets because I'm resting with the bar above my head for so long.
Yeah.
That time added up. So it wasn't my row. My row was consistent, my chest to bar unbroken and fast. It was just kind of me, okay, you can hold on to the bar. It's just 5 more. Just do 5 more. So there was a lot of talk, a lot of mindset talk, and a lot of, oh my God, here we go. So just kind of added up a little bit.
Now you've been training with Velvet for how many months now?
I've been out here, 6, 7 months?
Yeah. So Velvet Minnick. She's a master's athlete, and she just had knee surgery. Is that right?
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
And I think she had a shoulder thing as well. So it's like her doing these movements. By the way, I can't keep up with either of them, so it's okay. But yeah, no, I feel like she pushes you quite a bit here. And noticed at the end, and you guys will see it, at the end acted almost like a rabbit on the row.
For sure, yeah.
Does she do that a lot? Like when you guys are training together, just like pick apart and just be like, okay, I'm gonna jump in here and really like kind of try to push you.
For sure, yeah. And she really is good with like kind of like moving certain movements around, and like she's just like me. Like she does a lot of math beforehand, and like we like interval training, so we start at the same time. So sometimes it'll be like 2 minute rest, but instead of going exactly 2 minutes, I'll be like, I'm gonna go at the 7 just because math, I don't want to do it later, but I want to make sure that I'm consistent. So we do a lot of that, but yeah, so it's been really cool.
Yeah, something I did notice you might want to be careful of. I don't know if you saw that last rep. The last rep of your set, the last, and this happened I think last time too, the very last rep, you do the thing where you push straight out and then back away from the bar. So in a competition setting or in a qualifier setting, that would probably be a no rep, right?
Yeah, Kobe.
But that's why we do these video reviews, like to pick apart things like that.
Yeah, I have gotten dinged in the open because I
ghost ride the whip.
Like, and it's a stupid, silly like thing that I can fix. It's not me trying to get away with anything. It's just like, meh, I'm done.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that was your third. I think it's third or fourth.
I don't know. I'm sitting down at the bottom. It might be 4.
I think Velvet's wrapping up here. Yeah. So this might be 3 though.
I don't know.
We'll find out. Stay tuned, guys.
I'm flipping my grips around, so I think that was round 4. I was not wearing my grips for chest to bar.
No, this is round 4. You're going into round 4.
I was chalking up.
So yeah, here, stay in the blue. All right, last round. What pace were you rowing during the 250s?
I don't remember the pace, but I was like 55 to 58 seconds every single time, which is comfortable. Like I'm not cruising hard, but it's a good pace.
And I think it depends. Like you got to really know the workout in the sense that like you're not going to make up too much time on the rower, and the effort that you would put into improving your row time is just not worth it within the context of this interval. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Just knowing that those thrusters are coming up and I'm going to need a couple seconds before I pick up that barbell. It's no, like, what's the point, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's no point.
Talk a little bit about you being a giraffe and having to do thrusters and kind of what you do to try to like shorten your range of motion.
Yeah, I'm really long. I'm sure most of you guys know that. I'm like 5'8", 5'9", but like wingspan is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like, wide squat stance, spread my arms out, spread my legs out, and just try to, cut the range of motion a little bit. It's kind of awkward.
But even so, I mean, look how long your femur is,
No, for sure, yeah. So you can only stand so wide in a squat where your hips are still going below parallel. But I mean, I'm just like, I'm looking at these right now and I've made a lot of big improvements, I feel like, on these. I'm not dipping too much.
No, the only thing just from watching this that I would say is like at the bottom you still have a little bit of a pelvic, like your hips shoot back just a hair. So if you could eliminate that, keep your hips tucked under you, and then that way you can just kind of like stay straight up and down. And I think that would actually help with breathing as well.
Maybe. I love that.
Definitely.
But yeah.
So yeah, final set here.
Yeah, there was a set too where I saw Velvet moving and I was like trying to keep up with her tempo. So sometimes like I feel like having someone in front of me that's doing those movements and I can like literally mirror them. It's nice.
Yeah, totally. Now, do you find that it's better up?
Okay, that's just like
Ghost Ride the Whip!
That's like, get this bar off me. I did 25 unbroken.
Well, technically you did 24 unbroken and a half rep, so.
Whatever. YOLO.
All right, back. You did all these unbroken, right? Chest bar?
Oh, yeah, chest bar. That's money.
You look good with do you find that being long kind of helps here?
I don't know if it's necessarily my length. I think it's just my hip.
But that's what I mean is that you're so long, it's almost like a big whip.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, I've just always loved chest bar once I figured out the butterfly. Yeah. I just love them. They're like my hidden secret.
Yeah. All right, going into the next part now. Velvet's wrapping up here, but go and remind everybody what the last part is.
The last part, so at 20 minutes, I think, so we had a little over 5 minutes of rest, maybe like 6. At 20 minutes, 4 time, 15 bar muscle ups, 25 thrusters at 95 pounds, and a 500 meter row to finish.
What was your goal going into it?
I wanted to do my bar muscle ups unbroken. So once again, I just was like, hang on. And I did do this piece a couple weeks ago, but the piece before it was done with 35-pound thrusters. So doing the 65-pound thrusters before it this time, I didn't really know what to expect, but I did know that I wanted a big set of bar muscle ups, if not unbroken, just to hang on. Because once again, if I come down and I break a long time and I chalk up.
All right, here you go.
Yeah, so here we go.
There you go. I will say your kip is much better. You used to taco quite hard, both on bar muscle-ups and ring muscle-ups. I find that the bar, you tell me, the bar makes it seem like you don't do that quite as much as you do on the rings.
Yeah. I mean, I've been working on a lot of high volume bar muscle ups and ring muscle ups. I have been doing them so much. So I'm getting really comfortable with it. I know they're not perfect, but I am trusting myself a little bit more and I'm going pretty deep in my sets and I'm super proud of myself.
Yeah, you should be.
But yeah, so they can always, get better and stuff, but
what's something just watching these that you would improve maybe next time?
I just have to figure out, like, at the top, I'm starting to get really tired and I kind of like, I'm not sure if I'm physically ready. Like mentally, I'm like, you're staying on here and you're going unbroken. But I'm not sure that I'm ready. So just like working on like maybe quicker turnover, like instead of resting up at the top and breathing.
Yeah.
And I think that's just going to come over time. Like I said, like the sets I'm doing now, like 15 unbroken, 10 unbroken in workouts. Like, I mean, like when I competed in Mayhem and I did that, the workout with bar muscle ups, I opened with like 5. Mm-hmm. And I remember Michael Vespa was like, just trust yourself,
Yeah.
You can do more. And so
shout out Michael Vespa.
What's up? So ever since then, I've literally been doing that, like hanging on and seeing what I can do.
Yeah. All right, first set of thrusters here.
I wanted to cry.
But I will say, I almost feel like the not super heavy thruster, but like moderate weight is kind of your wheelhouse for this movement.
Sure, yeah. And once again, it was like bigger sets, I think, on this is better for me. I know like the turnover is not like super crazy fast, but I can do it. It's just like, watch how much rest I take right here. That's kind of what I'm talking about.
How many reps did you get in the first set?
I think I did 10.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say I can't remember. I thought I counted like 8 to 10, but
yeah, I think it was like 10, 7, 8 or 10, 8, 7.
Okay, cool.
Last time I did this workout, I went 14 and 11, and so obviously that was kind of where I added some time here.
Yeah, and again here, just that little shift in the hips, I think would really like if you could keep your hips underneath you.
Yeah.
That would really just speed everything up.
Yeah, that was me making sure my rower didn't turn off, you know?
So now I enter frame, masked up and everything, just to make sure the rower did not turn off prior to her getting on there. And Velvet, you can see Velvet over here getting set, ready to start the 500 when you do, to help kind of push the pace towards the end.
Yeah.
Did that help?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it always helps when I have someone going with me, which is why it's been so great having her in literally every single training session.
And Velvet's very competitive as well. So, I mean, like, you guys are 2 peas in a pod.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, I'm just like, oh my God, hang on, Hayley. Hang on. You're almost there. Like, look at how long each single thruster takes me.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
All right, so you guys are both in there.
And at this point, I am hurting.
Yeah. You guys are both off to the races. What kind of pace were you rowing here? Do you remember?
Oh, God. I mean, like when I first sat down, like a 2, which is pretty slow for myself.
Yeah.
But, I mean, after 125 thrusters, there was some power issues. But yeah, so I kind of like settled, just made sure. I knew last time that I did this row in 155, so that was kind of my goal. Once again, it's at the end of this crazy amount of volume. So very different than kicking it off with a 500 meter row.
All right, let's talk a little bit. I'm not sure if you're doing it here, but Bill Grundler's mentioned this before. The mixed grip rowing. Tell me a little bit about that. I know that's not exactly, what's the right word?
I don't know, but
correct technique, or
that would be correct. I don't know if a lot of my technique is correct on certain things when I am going. Shout out, Bill. So the mixed grip thing, I don't know where I picked this habit up. It must have been like when I first
deadlift,
maybe I got it from deadlifting. I don't know. I start off with overhand grip like I normally, like everybody rows, and then somewhere in the mix I take one hand and flip it around. I don't know. It just feels comfortable. There is no reason behind it.
Do you find that you actually row faster, or what?
No, it's just more comfortable. I think maybe I can get like a better pull.
Yeah.
And maybe that is from deadlifting.
So
I don't know.
So do you find that, like, let's say you're fatiguing in some way, it helps you to kind of maintain the pace that you need to hold?
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, there's no real reason behind it. Like I said, like I'll flip my hand back over and I'll still be able to hold on to that.
Sweet.
That pace,
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We'll do this again real soon. And Hayley, you got anything before we sign off?
Nope. Give it a try.
Boom.